Hi, my name's Phil.
And my name is Rob.
And we've been mates for years. We've done loads of stuff together.
All of which, mainly, have turned into chaos.
But someone then suggested, why don't you do a podcast? That seemed like a good idea, didn't it?
Really did.
Then we realised neither of us have ever done one of those. So is this going to work?
Well, we'll find out, won't we?
Welcome to Two Pastors in a Pod.
Here we are again.
Episode 5.
Back in the new gig.
We're still here.
We are.
People are still listening and watching.
We've had one improvement.
What's that?
We've got a clock in front of us now.
Oh yeah, and it is some clock.
Such a modern clock.
Oh.
Shall I just show
Yeah.
Shall I show everyone the clock? Hang on.
So,
Such a modern clock, everyone. That's our producer. Mr. Digital has gone analog. But anyway,
So-
it'll keep us in time.
so episode 5.
Yes.
Nathan, our producer, still got hair.
Yes,
Right.
he has indeed. Only just. And there's not one grey hair on his head yet.
See, and
Give us a few more weeks and he'll be like Nick.
There's no lawsuits, but we have, for the very first time, got two
Yeah.
very, very special
And
guests.
we've got them for the price of one.
Yeah, which is excellent. So they just turned up.
People wonder whether we pay expenses for this.
So-
But we do, don't we?
We do.
We give them a cup of tea.
We give them a brew. But so, introduce yourself.
Okay, my name's Nick, and I'm the husband of Jane.
Right, okay.
Now, Jane was on a couple of weeks ago.
She was a couple of weeks ago.
We do feel sorry for you.
Yeah,
Nick.
Yeah, well,
And
you don't want to have to put up
She
with
does
that.
happen to be my sister as well.
So we're going to throw out that.
yeah.
Yeah, and I've been invited on the show to tell a little bit about my experience with cancer.
Okay, and who have we got next year? Who are you?
I'm T.
Is that your team? What's it short for?
Okay, Therese.
Therese.
How did you get that name, by the way?
My dad insisted on calling me Therese because apparently one of his former girlfriends, that was her name.
Oh, I expect that went down well in there. So, at long last, we've got a decent accent on here.
Absolutely.
Well, this is actually because we did want to balance it up, didn't
We
we?
tried to,
So
anyway.
this is kind of the north-south
Yeah,
podcast today, isn't it?
yeah,
So
excellent.
we've got proper north in the Scousers.
And proper south.
South.
From
South.
Right,
South.
so where are you from originally? Where were you born?
I was born in New Cross in South London.
And
I grew up around Plumstead, Woolwich.
Nick?
I'm from the Wirral.
Okay, so
born
does that
and
make you a Scouser?
No, we're called Woolly-backs.
Woolly backs.
Yeah.
Woolly backs.
Not proper
Yeah,
Scousers,
not
but,
proper Scousers. No.
but he's married to a proper
Yeah.
Scouser, so that's fine.
That counts. That counts. And so we're going to talk a lot about what's going on in your lives right now and what's gone on recently. But before we have a brew, let's find out a little bit about kind of growing up. Nick, what was growing up like for you?
Well, from a big family of 7.
Didn't have a telly in the house, I'm assuming.
No, we didn't.
No,
Actually.
okay.
Not for a while. And I didn't have a particularly happy childhood because my dad was an alcoholic. But we survived and we got through. And I became a Christian when I was about 18.
Okay, so becoming a Christian then, was that a big change for you?
Yeah, it was a massive change.
Wasn't kind of Christian background or?
No, I never went to church. Didn't really want to go to church. Didn't see it as the macho thing to do. But I got a little bit disillusioned with life and started to read the Bible. And
Just on your own, just read the Bible, just
no, a friend of mine, we were both going through a similar experience. A friend of mine called Mike, and we went to school together, the same age, and we were pretty much at the same stage in our lives. And he read the Bible and he became a Christian. Then he said to me, "I know the answer."
No.
So we had a lot of arguments and a lot of debates about it, but eventually I did read the Bible, and I completely blown away by the message of the Bible. I read Luke's Gospel and the accounts of Christ on the cross, which really persuaded me that it was real.
So this was real for you. So
Yeah.
you're kind of a bloke's bloke who realised that there was a need there.
Yeah.
Tim, what about you? What was your kind of background?
My parents, we went to church for christenings,
Mhm.
funerals, weddings, and that was it. They would say they were Christians, but
Right.
that's the extent. So no experience of the Bible or anything like that.
Right.
So I went to Girls' Brigade when I was 8.
Okay. Yeah.
And I learned all the stories and everything, and it took a number of years for it to really sink in that these weren't just stories. That if Jesus was true, which I always believed there was a God, but that's as far as it went. But if Jesus was true in the things he was saying, then I should be doing what he's saying. So I got baptised when I was 19, I think. So it took a number of years. But I think the love of the leaders of the group was really what pulled me through, because my parents split up when I was 8. So being in a single family.
So you've had a pretty tough background. I mean, it's becoming a bit of a habit of me and Rob to ask, because we got asked, what were you like as kids? Nick, what were you like as a kid?
Shouldn't be asking Nick this. That's exactly because I've heard the story. What he was.
Oh, right, okay.
You didn't want to mess with Nick.
No.
You didn't want to mess with Nick.
Jack the Lad.
Were you?
Yeah, Jack the Lad, very much so.
He even did his own tattoo.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
He did.
We won't show that on the
made
screen
the best of
because
I would say, to sum it up, as Jack the Lad. I'm not proud of some of the things I did, shall we say, so I'm not going to go into all detail. But I would be the person who people would look at and say, no, there's no way he's going to become a Christian.
Do you know, God's got a sense of humour.
Yeah.
Because he's a pastor and I'm a pastor, and that's funny. Yeah, but
That is funny.
So you were a Jack the Lad. What about you down the other end, Nick?
No, I was a goody two shoes.
You were all sweetness and light, weren't you,
See,
T?
my brother was the scally.
Oh, there you go. There's...
He was the naughty one, and I never wanted to upset my mum. Whether it's because she was on her own, but I didn't want to rock the boat.
But you know, that's exactly like my sister and my story. See,
right?
last time she was on, she was saying just what a rebel she was, and I was the goody two shoes.
Yeah.
And you know what? And nothing's changed, has it, T?
I was so shy, I didn't want to speak to anyone.
So you're very different characters in that sense, but got the same faith. Now, listen, every time we come on, we've done this on all our podcasts because it's really important. And somebody sent us a new tea. Okay. So you can send in a new tea. It's Best in Brew.
Is this yet another PC Dave?
This is a different one. No, this isn't a PC Dave one.
Oh, Dave wasn't involved in
Someone
this?
else sent this one in.
Oh, wow.
Now, the trouble is, are you a tea drinker?
Not particularly.
Oh, what about you?
No.
You don't ever drink tea. So this is going to go really well. So I'm going to pour it anyway, because at the end of the day, so the idea is you've got to have a sniff at it, think what might be in it, and there's.
See, last time we were on, it was really nice. It was
all right last time. I must admit.
I can never say the word. Caroline.
Caroline.
No, it wasn't Caroline. No, Caroline and honey. Chamomile.
No,
that's it.
And it was passion fruit as well, by the way. It's very pretty colour. So have a sniff. Tell us what you think. Then you've got to rate it out of 10. So
sniff it first.
what do you reckon's in
Swill it
that?
down your mouth. Like
No, you don't have to do that.
Got to spit into this week.
Right, so fruit. No, we haven't got a spittoon. What do you reckon?
it is fruit.
What sort of fruit? What do you reckon's in that?
Well, that's not bad. That's 2.
That's 2 on
I'm
the
going to
drop.
go really wild. Goji berry.
It isn't goji berry. Any ideas, Nick? Have a taste.
Apricot.
There's like
Very close.
orangey.
Mango?
Orangey.
No,
Mango.
not it's
Pineapple.
got orange.
Pineapple.
Orange and one other ingredient. One other ingredient in there with orange.
Ginseng.
You were very close to.
Nick's doing the whole.
No.
You look like
No.
a professional.
It's peach.
Peach.
It's peach and orange.
Yeah, you can see that.
Peach.
Now the last one was supposed.
Smells
Yeah, the last one was supposed to send it. Have you had a taste of it?
I have.
Go on. I mean, really.
tasted it. It's just
So
weak.
it is a little weak. There's 2 tea bags in there.
Has it got a special name? This one? Or is it
No,
just-
it's literally peach and orange. But last time the tea we had was supposed to send you to sleep. This is supposed to energise you. It has an energy.
Well, that's it. Energy. That's what
Actually,
we
it's
need.
not bad. I think I could drink this.
That's
all right.
It's all right. It's the second one we've done, which is
So
pretty
there.
good.
So 2 conversions. 2 conversions on 2 conversions on a podcast.
That's another podcast.
Is that
I mean, you told us a little bit about your backgrounds in your life, but I guess for every single one of us, the last thing you want to hear in life is a doctor say, I'm sorry, you have cancer. And one of the reasons that we brought you on here is right now and in the past, cancer has played quite a big part in both your lives.
Yeah.
So, Nick, let's start with you. Just tell us a little bit about your cancer and how you first kind of discovered that there was a problem.
Yeah, it was quite a long process really, because I was having bad dreams of a night of choking.
Oh,
I
right.
was waking up and I kept saying to Jane, I'm choking.
And you sure it wasn't our Jane?
No, my hands were nowhere near my throat. And this went on and on and on. And then I was dreaming I was drowning. Never thought any.
dear.
Yeah, it was really bad dreams. But I was literally waking up of a night and I'd clearly had an obstacle in my throat but not knew about it. So in my sleep, I wasn't breathing, but my body was warning me and waking me up. So that went on and on for many, many weeks. And then one day I was going out and I'd shaved and missed a bit of my shaving there. And Jane took the razor off me and said, "Oh, I'll just do that for you." And she said, "You've got a great big lump in your throat."
And you'd never really noticed it?
Which is a lesson in itself, because it was there and I ignored it. But in the busyness of life, you don't really check yourself when you should do, really. And I just thought I was putting on weight.
Right.
Because I couldn't get any shirts to tie, my buttons off and that. So went to the doctors. The doctor said, "Yeah, it's probably a goiter."
Yeah.
So went to the hospital.
Which is fatty tissue.
Yeah.
Goiter.
So went to the hospital. The surgeon said, "Yeah, it's probably a goiter." So I got operated on and went back for the follow-up. And me and Jane were laughing in the waiting room, jovially going in, not realising the news that was going to hit me when I went in. So he told us there and then. And
had you not even thought about that cancer might be an issue?
No, because they told me that it wasn't cancer.
Right.
They said,
so they made that clear?
Yeah, they'd made that clear. Wow. It wasn't cancer. So I was quite cavalier about it. And then when he told me, I remember the moment me and Jane were just quiet.
Yeah.
And he was talking away. I wasn't listening.
Yeah, you weren't able to take it in at the time, were you?
No. So we both came out with shocked.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a bolt out the blue.
Yeah.
So yours slightly different, isn't it?
Yeah, I found a lump on my breast and I went to the doctors the next day. But it was during COVID, so you can imagine the wait times. And I got to the doctors and she actually said, "I think it's cancer." And my family were furious because they can't tell you that. They can't say that without you being looked at. Yeah. So in a way I sensed that it probably was. But it was weeks before I actually really got seen because of COVID. So it was 2 weeks before I got a phone call and another 2 weeks before I got in to see a consultant.
And you were very much on your own in that, I assume, because it was COVID.
Absolutely.
You had to go on your own.
On your own, yeah. So when I eventually, after the biopsy, got the results, I was on my own. So you try and take it in, but I'm sure there's things you miss.
Yeah.
Because you haven't got anyone with you.
And there was a lot going on, I guess, in the world at the time as well.
Yeah, that's right. And I don't know. I think I was expecting it,
right?
And it turned out it was already stage 3, which I wasn't expecting, and had already spread to my lymph nodes.
Right. So that was obviously significant. What was your cancer diagnosis? What was it?
It's thyroid cancer.
Okay. Yeah. Is that an unusual one?
I don't think it's particularly unusual. I think mine was because the growth was so big, and it kind of worked its way down because I actually went in hospital 4 times. We kept coming back.
Yeah.
And eventually ended up in my chest.
Right. So that's what I was going to say, because yours has been an ongoing journey. So this has been how many years now?
Probably
Nick?
12 years.
And how many operations?
4 operations.
4 operations.
And so in terms of operations, they've removed the thyroid?
Yeah, they removed the thyroid and then it got into my lymph nodes.
Yeah.
And then they said they weren't quite sure they got it all.
Right.
And clearly they hadn't, because by the time my last operation, it come to this part of my chest.
Okay.
So it ceased to then be in my neck, and it was more of a chest thing.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we'll talk to you in a minute, but in your case, you're a teacher. So did they say you could lose your voice with
surgery? Yes, they did.
And...
Yeah, that was one of the risks.
Wow.
So that was my biggest fear, really, because I'm a teacher, that if you lose your voice, you don't have a job. And of course, you wouldn't be able to talk to people, which is not very good. So that was one of the biggest.
So that's kind of weight on top of weight.
Yes, yeah, that was the thing. Yeah.
Wow. What about you two? Where did your surgery end up? What happened?
Oh, the initial surgery was going to be a lumpectomy, but they cancelled it last minute.
So a lumpectomy means what?
Where they just take the lump out.
Okay.
But when they found out what type of cancer it was, they wanted to give me chemo first. So the night before the operation,
The night before you had surgery.
I got a call and said it's cancelled.
Wow.
So I'd got my head in gear that they were going to take it away and everything was going to be fine.
Sure.
But then I had to have 6 months of chemo first, which didn't work at all. And then it had spread to further lymph nodes. So instead of being 2 lymph nodes, it was 11.
Okay.
So I ended up having a mastectomy and 11 lymph nodes removed on my first surgery.
Wow. So obviously that's significant surgery. But in your case, the surgery didn't quite stop there, did it?
No, they said to me that the likelihood it would come back as secondary bone cancer. So the breast cancer comes back, it could be in your lymph nodes and spread off anywhere at any time. So that's what I was, told, and they said it could be within 10 years. But
so in terms of that, what did you have done? As a result of that, what did you choose to do?
Well, I chose to have my other breast removed, so I had a private mastectomy just to even up, because I was walking lopsided, I got a frozen shoulder, there was lots of complications.
You were trying to reduce the risk, weren't you?
Yeah.
So we'll come to where you're at now, but I've got to ask the question. So when you're diagnosed, you don't want to hear that. Firstly, how do you respond to that as Christians? You're both Christians, you've both got a faith. Did it not seem a little unfair that you got hit with this ridiculous disease?
Because you get hit with these freight trains sometimes in life, don't you? And coming to terms with them are difficult. But as a Christian, we're interested to hear how you came to terms, and whether you're still coming to terms with the fact that you both had cancer in your life and it's ongoing.
After the initial shock, which I think everyone has, whether you're a Christian or not, you then start to think a bit more soberly about things, and you do reflect upon your life, what's important. But I was never under any doubt that God was with me all the way through it, and I never questioned that one little bit. I don't know why, but I just didn't, because I'd always believed that God was sovereign and in control of everything. And of course, when it comes to your life, you have to believe that. You can't just think it's true for everyone else. It's true for me as well. So personally, that was a great comfort to me.
Yeah. What about you, Tim?
Yeah.
I never said, why me, God? Why have you done this? I was more, why not me? There's thousands of people that have illnesses, and we live in a fallen world the world was made perfect and we screwed it up. So there's disease and decay everywhere. So our bodies aren't what they were planned to be. So why not me? And if God could use my situation to glorify Him, then so be it. That's the path I'm on.
Because Jesus, John 16:33, in this world you will have trouble, but I've overcome the world. I mean, the statistics are horrifying. Was it last week, a couple of weeks ago? 1 in 2 of us will get cancer.
Yeah.
That's a staggering statistic. So there's going to be loads of people listening or watching this podcast, and they're looking at you two going, so these guys are already there and have been there.
So can I ask a question? During this process that you've been through, this journey that you're on, what have been your fears? Have you had fears during this? Are there any ongoing fears that you have as a Christian as well?
My biggest, wouldn't call it fear, it was, a concern was leaving my family. I thought, I didn't want to particularly do that. I felt as though I had more life to live.
Yeah.
But I'd never feared death. No. That's never been.
And why is that, Nick?
Well, one of the verses that stuck with me and still does is the well-known Psalm 23, which says the Lord is my shepherd, and it's that little word "my."
Yeah.
He's not a shepherd, he's not the shepherd, he's my shepherd.
Yeah.
And I just kept reciting that, reminding myself of it all the time, and other verses as well. So I just got great comfort from that.
What about you, T? What fears?
I don't, as Nick said, I don't think I'm fearful. I was concerned about family and leaving them behind and having a granddaughter that would I see her grow up. But the peace from having a faith is amazing. You know, my peace I give to you. And it's just been so, every day there's a verse to support you and lead you on.
Do you find that the cancer, let's find out a little bit more. Again, Nick, let's start with you. So the cancer that you've had, they removed the thyroid, have they dealt with your cancer? Is that done?
Well, it kept coming back. To make a long story short, there was 4 times in all, and each time it was kind of like, okay, that's fine now, and then it came back. So apparently now, yes, it is gone.
Yeah.
And thankfully, that's hopefully the end of the story, but who knows?
Yeah. Well, God knows, which is important. So in your case, so you've had a done mastectomy, you've had lymph nodes removed, you've had chemotherapy, radiotherapy. How long? This has obviously been going on since end of
COVID.
Since COVID. Where are you at now with your cancer?
I probably had maybe a year of thinking, has it gone or hasn't it? Because you're not under the hospital anymore. But no, the breast cancer came back as secondary bone cancer.
So some people would think that, well, okay, you've had double mastectomy, breast cancer can't come back, can it?
Yes, it can, yeah.
So it can come back in the chest cavity?
Well, the type of cancer I've got, because it's in the lymph nodes, can actually go off anywhere around your body. But the statistics are that it can come back as secondary bone cancer.
And so that's what you have right now.
Yeah.
What's the prognosis of that?
They said average of 3 years.
Right.
But the Lord knows how long you have.
Yeah.
Could be more, could be less. So you just live your life for Him. Every day is special. You appreciate everything, and my faith is stronger.
Amen.
When you were first diagnosed, both of you, how did your families react to that? Because you're in Christian families. You know, you've got Christian partners, you've got Christian kids.
Yeah.
So how did your family react to that?
They were very good, my family.
Yeah.
In fact, I wouldn't have got through it without my family. So, yeah, they were great. They were really, really good, all of them.
Yeah. Too?
Yeah, same as support. So much prayer. When you've got a Christian family, you know, and a Christian, church that is praying for you daily.
Yeah.
That is such support.
Yeah.
So what would you say then? You know, you both had this experience. You're both really faithful in the midst of this experience. What would you say to people who are listening right now and be watching this right now, who maybe have just had a diagnosis or are dealing with their own cancer journey? What would your advice be to them? How could you support them?
Well, what I did was I just tried to make the most of... I knew I wasn't going to be doing normal things in life for a while. So I said, well, how am I going to use my time wisely? So I read a lot, I prayed a lot. I just used that time while I was ill to make sure that I profited from that.
Yeah.
And not just mopes around and... feel sorry for myself. I hope I didn't feel sorry for myself. Others might tell you differently, but that was my philosophy, right? Make the most of what you've got and just take each day as you can.
And you, T?
Yeah, pretty much the same. Make the most of every day and be thankful for what you can do. So there might be things you can't do. Like I get really frustrated with gardening because I've got a fractured spine with this. So I can't get the weeds out, so I get really frustrated, but I need to be thankful for what I can do and actually look at nature and see how wonderful it is. So can't say the word.
Perception.
Of what, life is about. Make the most of it. But underline it all, because we have a faith in Jesus Christ, we know that we're going to be all right in the end. So for those that haven't got faith, I don't know how... To me, it would seem like a big black hole, and they need to sort their spiritual life out to have this peace that we have.
I've got to be honest, we're in awe of you two.
Absolutely.
Genuine awe of how you have dealt with the cancer and still dealing with the cancer and looking at the future. I mean, obviously that has affected you. Do you think, T, you've had a prognosis of 3 years. What did you say to the consultant when they told you that?
I think I said, well, at least you're not saying like 10 months. And I actually had a verse of scripture when they told me, and it was Hezekiah pleaded for more time. Yeah. And the Lord said, okay, you're not going to die, I'll give you 15 years. So I've taken that as a promise that my time's in his hands, whether it's 3 years or 15 years, that I need to glorify him and tell people about.
And Nick, what about your kind of view of life now?
Yeah, I mean, quite similar. I've said to God, Lord, make me useful for you for the rest, whatever time I've got left. I've hopefully not got it, but you just don't know. But my philosophy, whether I had it or didn't have it, would be, give me whatever time I've got left.
Yeah.
Help me to be as useful and productive for you as I possibly can. Sharing my faith, helping other people maybe who have got similar issues in their lives, and just trying to be a good Christian.
I mean, we talked about this obviously, and maybe there are those listening and those who are watching. Again, we'd say if there's questions you want to ask, the email address is on the bottom of the website, the email address at the bottom of the podcast at the end of this. We'd love you to send in if there's any way that people can help. Maybe Nick and T can help you in some way.
And even if you want prayer, I mean,
there
are lots of folk out there who are suffering, maybe not with cancer, but other issues as well. And we'd be happy to pray for you. Just send in those emails and we'll pray for you.
I mean, we mess about quite a bit, me and Rob. But the truth is, this is really personal for us because we didn't mention it really at the beginning.
No.
But this is family. These are family.
Yes.
So, Nick, what's your relationship?
I'm Rob's brother-in-law.
We gave that one away. Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, you slightly gave it away.
We did.
So,
okay.
What about T? Who are you related to here?
I am married to Phil.
And how's that going for you? Should we do one on marriage?
No.
Fantastic.
36 years and we're still going.
Still smiling.
So this is personal to us.
Yes.
We are truly grateful for you both coming on and sharing with us on this particular podcast. Hopefully, in the future we'll keep folk upside with what's going on and maybe get you back in again at some point. But thanks so much.
Thank you.
And so that's the end of episode 5.
Is it 5 now?
Absolutely 5. So we're grateful you've joined us. We look forward to continuing our podcast. Make sure you get in touch.
Don't forget to tick like. Is it the like button, Nathan? Is it the like? You got to tick the like to get more subscribe. Or subscribe. That's it.
Subscribe, even better.
Yeah, we'd love to have you as a viewer, a regular viewer, I should say. Thanks for being here.
Brilliant. Nice. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate
Thank you.
it. Cheers.
Thank you.